Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang.
And I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight, a vaccine ultimatum. Get the shot or you're off the job. Why so many healthcare workers are saying no.
We went for it with a complete disregard about the freedom of choice.
The scramble to replace them.
Record high prices at the pumps.
Well, what do you think of these gas prices?
I think it's ridiculous.
Why it's likely going to get worse.
An uncertain future in Afghanistan.
I have lots of goals that I think I won't reach them.
Women and girls left in limbo, waiting to see if their rights will be respected. We're on the ground in Kabul.
And a life-saving delivery by drone.
To be part of the future is kind of really exciting.
The short flight that could make a big difference for organ donation. This is The National. 19 months into the pandemic, healthcare systems are stretched, exhausted, and now a new potential challenge.
A labor shortage. Despite stiff warnings that their jobs depend on it, too many frontline healthcare workers remain unvaccinated. With their specialized skills and training, losing even a few frontline healthcare workers could push overburdened hospitals and care homes into crisis. But with provincial and hospital vaccine mandates fast approaching, thousands are at risk of suspension. In BC, Alberta, and Ontario, it's a matter of weeks. In Quebec, it is a matter of days. Quebec healthcare workers have until Friday to get their shots or be suspended. Yet some remain defiant despite working through the pandemic and seeing for themselves what COVID is capable of. Tonight, Alison Northcott speaks with two healthcare workers about why they are willing to risk their jobs.
In just a few days, Chantal Hébert will be suspended from her job in a long-term care home because she won't get vaccinated. She says she wants to rely on her own immune system.
I think we went for it with a complete disregard about the freedom of choice and then imposed it when I really feel that it is not the only way to go about winning this war against our immune system.
The vaccines have been proven to be safe and effective in preventing COVID-19. Still, Hébert is one of more than 20,000 Quebec healthcare workers who are not adequately vaccinated. One unvaccinated nurse told CBC News that while he does not believe in conspiracy theories, he says he should be free to make his own choices about his health and his body. We've agreed not to identify him because he fears it could impact future job opportunities.
It's just a little too far, in my opinion. I understand the whole social aspect maybe being taken away from you. You can't travel, you can't go out to restaurants and eat, but even to say you can't work and earn money is preposterous.
I would have thought that at this time, especially with the fact that we are in need of nurses, that people would do a last effort.
Quebec's health minister isn't backing down, saying it will take some reorganizing to fill the gaps when workers are suspended. But Marianne Gattas, who runs a private care home for adults with disabilities, is worried about finding staff to replace 4 unvaccinated orderlies.
If I don't suspend them, I could lose my license and have to shut down those homes. And it's not just a business that you're shutting down, it's human beings living in there.
This doctor says he doesn't expect a major impact at his hospital Friday, that they're used to dealing with staffing shortages.
I'm not sure I want to work with somebody who decides to neglect the COVID pandemic at this stage. It just doesn't make sense. I'd rather work harder.
The province says it will announce its contingency plan to make up for any shortages later this week.
So, Alison, what happens to the healthcare workers who do get suspended?
Well, the health minister says that they can still get their shots and they can return to work once they are fully immunized. If they don't, they risk losing not only their pay, but also things like seniority. And with that deadline now just days away, the health minister reiterated today that he has no plans to extend it.
All right, Alison Northcott in Montreal, thank you.
You're welcome.
BC got a preview of what those staffing shortages mean. All healthcare workers there need to be vaccinated by the end of the month. But workers in long-term care and assisted living facilities have until the end of the day today to get their first shot or take mandatory leave without pay. Greg Rasmussen shows us the immediate impact.
So this is our dining room area.
Day one, and the new mandate is already causing problems at this long-term care facility, where 10 staff are barred because they haven't been vaccinated.
There's been lots of conversation of what are we going to do? What's the plan moving forward, and how are we going to get done what we need to get done? We call this Main Street.
Maintaining minimum staffing levels is leading to tough conversations.
And those are the most difficult when we're telling somebody, hey, I know you thought you were leaving at 3, but I don't have someone to relieve you, and you actually now need to stay till 11.
In some BC health districts, up to 12% of workers remain unvaccinated. From the province, a direct plea, as well as tough words.
This is a measure that protects you as a healthcare worker and keeps you able to care for those who are more vulnerable.
They will be subject to progressive discipline up to and including termination.
A vaccine-related staffing crunch is also facing Toronto Transit. 15,000 workers are being told to either get the shot or don't come to work. It's also checking with retirees to see if they're willing to return to the job.
We'll have a better idea over the next few days, where we may face some labor issues, and then plan our service or our operations accordingly.
Vaccine mandates are also coming at month's end for Air Canada and WestJet employees. Similar requirements at United Airlines in the U.S. recently saw most holdouts get the jab to keep their jobs.
Very complex.
Businesses are seeking legal advice on these new, largely untested laws.
And they have to demonstrate to their customers that, and be seen by their customers to be doing everything they can to provide a safe working environment. But at the same time, they don't want to lose 20% of their workforce.
Despite the workforce pain, vaccine proponents say the mandates are a vital step in slowing the pandemic. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Hospitals in New Brunswick are moving to the red alert level as the province deals with the surge in COVID-19 cases. So that means elective surgeries will be reduced or canceled so staff can be redeployed to ERs and intensive care units. New Brunswick now has more than 1,000 active cases.
Now, in Ontario, the fourth wave has so far been somewhat calm. Infections and hospitalizations flat, and for now, manageable. And for many parents and students, that has fueled hopes that the days of online learning are in the rearview mirror. But as Deanna Sumanek-Johnson shows us, COVID is getting into schools, and in some cases, getting out of hand.
This high school is the first one in Toronto to be closed because of a COVID-19 outbreak, leaving close to 800 kids out of class and shifting online.
We were really annoyed. We got our kids vaccinated to be back into school, and here we are closed again.
Silverthorne Collegiate is one of 6 schools in Ontario closed due to an outbreak. It's a story bubbling underneath Ontario's success this fall. While the province's infection numbers have plateaued, schools now contribute up to 30% of daily new infections. It's a similar situation in Quebec. Vaccinating more students might prevent more school closures, something Toronto's medical officer of health has asked the province to mandate. But Ontario, like other parts of the country, hasn't moved to do that yet.
Given that the province actually has the records and has the jurisdiction, they are probably the more effective party for vaccination policy.
Keep kids safe! And those under 12 who make up the majority of school cases can't be vaccinated yet anyway. These parents are advocating for smaller class sizes.
And our kids are crowded in classrooms. They cannot even maintain a meter space of social distancing.
But this epidemiologist says other measures are even more important for limiting infection.
Airborne transmission cannot be underestimated, especially with Delta, which is so hyper-transmissible. What does that mean? It means we got to focus on ventilation. Number 2, wear good quality masks.
Another measure he'd like to see used more extensively, rapid tests, which can quickly identify infected students before they show any symptoms. Last week, the province said it would send these tests to schools in areas with high transmission rates so that outbreaks can be stopped before they prompt shutdowns like this one. Deanna Sumanek-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
In the UK, a scathing new report says Britain's initial response to COVID-19 was one of that country's worst public health failures ever.
If we'd locked down a week earlier, we might have even saved half of the number of deaths in that initial wave.
The report by a joint parliamentary committee says the UK made serious mistakes at the start of the pandemic, including a decision to manage the virus's spread instead of suppressing it, apparently in a bid to achieve herd immunity. Greg Clark, chair of the UK House of Commons Science and Technology Committee, offered that view.
Like Canada, the U.S. is hoping its federal vaccine mandate will help slow the continued spread of COVID. But one state is now saying, not here. Katie Simpson reports.
Texas is launching a new COVID-era fight, not against the virus itself, but against rules that would force some workers to get their shots.
And we're extremely concerned about the vaccine mandates from the federal government.
The governor signed an executive order banning all vaccine mandates, even in private businesses. While Greg Abbott called vaccines the best defense against the virus, he says the choice must always be voluntary. The Texas executive order does not supersede the federal vaccine mandate announced last month by the president, leaving the White House to speculate this move is more about appeasing the Republican governor's political base.
Well, I think it's pretty clear when you make a choice that's against all public health information and data out there, it's not based on what is in the interest of the people you are governing. It's perhaps in the interest of your own politics.
There is now confusion for some companies about which rules will have to be followed. And while employers may not like vaccination mandates, some are vowing to stick with it.
I've never been in favor of corporations imposing that kind of a mandate. The objective here obviously is to improve health and safety, not for people to lose their jobs.
There are roughly 68 million Americans eligible to get a shot who have so far opted not to get vaccinated. These mandates are seen as a last resort by public health leaders to improve those numbers. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
One of the biggest names in the National Football League is out of a job. John Gruden stepped down as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders after it emerged he had sent emails denigrating gays, blacks, and women. Jamie Strachan now on the implications for the NFL.
I stand here in front of everybody apologizing. I know I don't have an ounce of racism in me.
For a while, it looked like John Gruden would weather the storm after an email he wrote 10 years ago that contained racist language surfaced.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already.
He coached Sunday when his Las Vegas Raiders hosted the Chicago Bears. Then came the avalanche. The New York Times reviewed emails Gruden wrote between 2010 and 2018, littered with racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic language.
He checked almost every box for a bigot and a racist.
Sports columnist William Roden says it's a dramatic fall for the Super Bowl winning coach and broadcaster, a revered football mind in the midst of a 10-year, $100 million contract.
You can't have a guy like that patrolling your sidelines, particularly at a time when the NFL is talking about diversity and Black Lives Matter.
Gruden's emails came to light as part of a separate NFL investigation into workplace misconduct that saw the league review nearly 700,000 emails.
Who are his enablers? Who are these people who are now kind of scurrying back into these dark corners, who are just smart enough not to put their racist beliefs in emails?
Some see an irony in Gruden's rapid departure from a league that sees players accused of sexual misconduct take the field each week, and wonder if Gruden's resignation will change anything.
Oh, I think it's massively widespread. I think this is, again, a person that got caught.
One of the league's biggest stars maintains people like Gruden are outliers in an evolving league.
I feel like the player and the coach of today is a more empathetic, advanced, progressive, loving, connected type of person.
Late today, the NFL Players Union said the league should release all of the emails it's reviewed. The question is, what else is out there, and who else will fall? Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, a federal court judge has rejected a request by Major General Danny Fortin to challenge his removal as head of Canada's vaccine rollout. The judge says Fortin must first file a grievance with the military before going to the federal court. Fortin was removed from the position in May amid an allegation of sexual misconduct. He denies any wrongdoing. His lawyers argue his dismissal amounted to political interference.
Like just about everything, gas prices took a dive at the start of the pandemic, but they have come back strong. The average across Canada now reaching a new record. As Cameron McIntosh explains, high prices at the pump is likely just the beginning.
At 142.9, this average Winnipeg gas station sits just below the national average gas price. From one pump, 3 stories in just 5 minutes. Lisa, gassing up her F-150, putting in just $20.
Well, what do you think of these gas prices, 142.9?
I think it's ridiculous.
That's a big truck you got there.
Yeah, it cost me about almost $175 to fill.
Or Damien, now a former Uber skip the dishes driver.
I don't do any of those anymore. It's not worth it.
And Remy owns 2 cars and a motorcycle. Maybe not for long.
People need to change their habits, and I know my wife and I have been considering buying an electric car. So
at just around $1.44, Canada is experiencing its highest ever average gas prices. Remember, average. What's expensive in Toronto or Regina can still sound like a deal in St. John's or Vancouver, where prices are closer to $1.60. A confluence of factors are driving it. Rising oil prices, a weak Canadian dollar, and supply-demand imbalances of COVID.
Demand plummeted early on in the pandemic, so did production. Now demand has come roaring back, and production is still trying to catch up. I think it will get better. It will take time.
In the meantime, rising transportation costs may soon be reflected in many goods, like groceries, already facing upward pressure.
It impacts your bottom line. It impacts your cost, and therefore it impacts the pricing you have to put out to market.
And if you're running a furnace, natural gas, or heating oil, winter is also looking expensive. It all has many worrying about the overall rising cost of living.
We're hearing from seniors that maybe we've connected with for the last 5 years, and for the first time they're calling me and asking me about food banks.
So then how high might it go? Analysts say there are so many variables right now that clear predictions are hard, although a national average gasoline price over $1.50 doesn't sound or feel all that far off right now. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, of course, daycare can be a huge expense for Canadian parents. One of the Trudeau government's signature promises heading into the last election was a national $10 a day daycare program. So far, 7 provinces and 1 territory have signed on with Ottawa to make that a reality. But the biggest holdout, Ontario. Travis Danratch shows us what's behind the disagreement.
Katie Boone considers herself privileged. She can afford $1,500 a month for her son's childcare. Others can't.
Families particularly who are on a single income or do not get any type of parental leave top-up are really, really disadvantaged in a system that costs, the same as mortgages.
Boone says the cost of childcare is a major reason she's waiting to have a second child. But right now, negotiations between Ontario and the feds are at a standstill. Ontario's education minister insists the province should get a larger injection of cash because it offers full-day kindergarten, something Stephen Lecce says the federal government is not currently considering.
We hope for a deal that is affordable, that is accessible. We're going to continue to make the case to our federal colleagues that we want a better deal.
Sources within the Ford government say the province has about 40% of the country's population, but right now is only slated to get about 1/3 of the federal funding. Still, pressure is mounting to ink a deal.
The fact that Doug Ford is so out of touch that he doesn't understand the benefit that this will have is absolutely shocking.
I just wish that the Ford government would listen to the clamor that's going on in this province with the need for childcare. Everybody's saying the pandemic needs to change the way we think about childcare.
Ontarians will head to the polls in the new year, with childcare likely to be a major campaign issue.
I think, unfortunately, politics gets in the way. At the end of the day, if the objective is to support families and to support growing our economy, then we need to be able to support 50% of the economy, which is women getting back into the workforce.
She hopes leaders put politics aside and deliver on a service she says is essential for Ontario families. Travis Danratch, CBC News, Ottawa.
A worldwide first, a set of lungs delivered to a Toronto hospital by drone.
If you could fly a drone in the city, then you can fly a drone anywhere.
Coming up, the delivery that could revolutionize organ transplants.
Plus, the Taliban has put a stop to higher education for Afghan women. Will they get to return?
I have lots of goals that I think I won't reach them.
We'll hear from young women afraid for their futures.
And a BC woman's brush with death.
The explosion had caused debris all over my face.
She tells us about the mysterious rock that landed right where she slept. We're back in 2. About 8,000 people in Nunavut are being told they cannot drink their tap water even if it's filtered or boiled.
In this case, we suspect that there is petroleum, some type of petroleum product that has entered the water system.
The city of Iqaluit declared a state of emergency. Since the warning went out, some residents have been collecting water from a local river. Others have been buying bottled water in bulk at grocery stores. It is unclear how the fuel contaminated the water supply.
Well, technology has long been a crucial part of our healthcare system. As it improves, so does our ability to save lives. And tonight we have a glimpse into how drones could be a big part of that future, with an unprecedented delivery flight that for one man meant life itself. Thomas Daigle explains.
For a peek into the future when drones may help save lives, look up. That box is specially made to transport human lungs, donated by one dying patient to help another in dire need. Like Alain Odak, diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis in 2019. By last month, he could barely breathe.
It was just close to unbearable of having no air.
At 63 years old, he's recovering from a successful double lung transplant after waiting months for an organ donor. Then agreeing to take part in a world first.
To be part of the future is kind of really exciting, and it's an honor for me.
I couldn't believe that this was happening because I was so afraid to lose him.
In late September, in the middle of the night, came word of an organ donor. The lungs arriving still inflated with oxygen in that special box cooled to the right temperature. The drone flying 1.5 kilometers from Toronto Western Hospital to the Toronto General Hospital. Surgeon-in-Chief Dr. Shaf Kashavji was there on the roof for that unique delivery.
If you could fly a drone in the city, then you can fly a drone anywhere, right? And so that was what we set out to do here, to prove that concept.
He says instead of transporting organs by vehicle or on a plane, using an unpiloted drone can cut down on emissions and save lives by saving time. This feat took planning and permissions from regulators, not to mention dozens of test flights involving a Quebec firm and its U.S. parent company.
The advent of drones flying organs routinely is something that is very likely to occur within the next 10 years.
Khashoggi himself performed the lung transplant, giving Odak a new lease on life.
I pledge that I'll take care of these lungs very well.
Yeah.
He could be the first of many getting that gift from above. Thomas Dagle, CBC News, Toronto.
A BC woman got a rude awakening the other night and the fright of her life. Did a branch fall on her house in Golden? If only the answer was that simple.
I was sound asleep in my bed, and the dog barked a couple of times, and then right after that, there was an explosion. I jumped out of my bed and ran across the room and turned on the light, and I could see that there was a hole in my ceiling.
Scared and with no clue as to what had happened, Ruth Hamilton got 911 on the phone.
So I went back into the room and flipped back one of the two pillows I was sleeping on, and the rock was there. And I just said, "There's a rock in my bed." They sent an officer over right away. He came in and looked and said, "Yeah, you got a rock in your bed."
The officer guessed it might be a meteorite, so they contacted Western University, which agreed it was a meteorite. Hamilton has loaned it to the school for a month of testing, but she owns it and won't soon forget her cosmic encounter.
You know, I love, like everybody else, going out in the night sky and watching for shooting stars and stuff. So they have a whole new perspective to me now.
Well, for many, looking up at the skies last night, it wasn't rocks falling. Instead, it was a spectacular show of northern lights that people as far south as Vancouver could see. We'll explain why, but first.
Girls, they have to go to school, period.
We are in Afghanistan speaking with women and girls about their hopes and their worries for a future under the Taliban. Stay with us. Welcome back. Afghanistan's economy is teetering on collapse, and the G20 held an emergency summit today to tackle the growing humanitarian crisis. The group agreed it has to engage the Taliban, but stopped short of recognizing it as a government.
A recognition will have to acknowledge that the Taliban's will be judged for what their deeds are, not their words.
So the G20 says giving the Taliban formal legitimacy would hinge on things like visible progress on human rights and on education for girls. And there is the rub. The Taliban continues to offer assurances to women, but after 2 decades of real progress, many of their rights are now being taken away. CBC News is on the ground in Afghanistan, where Susan Ormiston spoke with women whose lives once brimmed with potential and are now seeing them transformed into ones with little hope.
So welcome now, the carefree sounds of girls at play at school, busting out of these last difficult months in Kabul. At recess, shrugging off exam preps. Enjoying the sisterhood of students, a basic right, now deeply threatened in Afghanistan. Malalai School has educated girls in the Afghan capital for decades, grades 1 through 12. But this year, the most senior class is grade 6. When school restarted 3 weeks ago, any girl older than these students was told, stay home. 1,000 girls from this school had no choice. The new Taliban government has banned secondary education until further notice for girls grade 7 and up. And that could be Rana's fate. Next year, we want to continue our studies.
Do you and your girlfriends talk about what's happening now that school is suspended beyond grade 6?
I got more sad when I heard the upper classes can't come to school. I don't know if this is our last year, if next year we can come or not. The Taliban says it's reforming the curriculum for Islamic studies and that in time girls will fill these halls again. But at Malalai, 22 classes are eerily empty and 33 teachers are at home, out of work. The new principal was promoted after the last one fled in August during the evacuation.
Do you trust that the government will allow older girls to go to school?
Yes, we have a lot of hope the girls' school will be fully open, because half of the society belongs to our women. Now we see the Taliban, their vision has changed. But for many women, life is nothing like it was. 2 months into the new Taliban regime, they'd been dumped from jobs, barred from teaching, excluded from government, told to go home and wait. But for what? Before the Taliban even got here, beauty salons had blacked out images for fear of reprisals. And many are predicting a return to the dark days under the old Taliban, when women's ambitions were discarded in a heap. Kabul University, preparing young women and men for prominent jobs, is closed for now. The chancellor was replaced with a young Taliban follower.
This is from my teacher. Oh. He accepted me as a brilliant student.
Masuda, not her real name, is a first-year engineering student.
This is for science.
18 years old with a portfolio of good grades and leadership diplomas, grand ambitions, until 2 months ago.
I'm so sad, I'm so upset, I feel disappointed, and I have lots of goals that I think I won't reach them.
That must be terribly hard.
I can't be like a girl that should marry and born babies. I want to work, I want to study and do something for my country. They know that our education is our power, and if women don't have the permission to study, the next generation also will be illiterate.
Her mother, a teacher, is also home. Her classes cancelled. They're forced, like so many, to reconfigure their lives with little income while the new regime decides their fate. Masuda is determined.
But I don't stop. I will study. I will review my English. Whatever they do, I won't stop.
At first this fall, women tested their power, protesting against the Taliban, but met with harsh resistance, sometimes violence. A demonstration in front of the presidential palace was short-lived.
And I can raise my voice.
A young activist was there. She's a student of law and politics in her 4th year, and she paints images of women and peace and the freedom she fears is lost.
In lots of TV interviews, the high-ranking officials of Taliban told that it's not necessary that girls got educated. I'm an educated girl, and it's insulting and abusive thing for girls.
So at the beginning you had more hope?
Yeah, I hope. But now, when I see the reaction of the new government, I'm losing my hope day by day.
The Taliban is under pressure from inside and out. Women's rights are part of the negotiations to release international funds back into Afghanistan. Prominent activist Mahbouba Saraj is holding the Taliban to account.
The Taliban don't have much time to really sit down and think and dwell and rethink and rethink and rethink. There is no rethinking about this. Girls, they have to go to school, period. Because the world is going to make a decision whether to recognize the Taliban or not. And a whole lot of it depends on their action, whether they are going to let the girls go to school or not.
These little girls can't know they are pawns in a political fight to protect their basic rights, to learn at any age, hard won by the last generation of graduates at Malalai High School. But if the Taliban refuses to bend, 2 decades of progress could be snuffed out. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Kabul.
And today, 2 powerful women from the world of politics and literature released their pandemic project, a novel that is a warning. Their interview airs tomorrow on The National, but here's a sense of who they are and what they built. Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former CBC journalist turned Canadian crime writer Louise Penny. They were mutual fans, then friends, now co-authors of a political thriller called State of Terror. An alt-right supporting incompetent former president looms large. A female Secretary of State trying to undo the dangerous damage is the heroine. There's also this moment where the Secretary of State goes after President Ivanov in Russia. What does it feel like for you, Secretary Clinton, to write that? Like, how cathartic was that?
Yeah, it was cathartic because somebody like that poses a continuing danger, and we didn't want people to forget that.
Their book is out today. Their story goes on.
I'm hoping that really, people in countries like yours and mine pay the most attention, because we have, in my view, the most to lose if we don't understand what the threats are.
This is a wake-up call to all of us to be vigilant, to pay attention, to stand up.
Talking fiction and the facts that feed it tomorrow on The National.
All right, and coming up still tonight, many offices in Calgary have been sitting empty during the pandemic, but now some are being converted.
The adversity of it breeds creativity.
The innovative solutions that could fundamentally change Calgary's downtown core. Plus,
there's a ton of misinformation out there, and some of this misinformation even appears like it's evidence-based.
Battling vaccine hesitancy, a doctor tells us some of the biggest fears against the shot. Next.
Netflix is standing by Dave Chappelle's comedy special, The Closer, which some have criticized as transphobic. A top executive says he doesn't believe Chappelle crosses the line on hate, and the special will remain on the streaming service.
And it is underway as Jeff Carter won the face-off for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And after 2 seasons stunted by the pandemic, the NHL is back to business as usual tonight, kicking off a normal 82-game season. Most arenas back at full capacity, and according to the NHL, 99% of players are vaccinated against COVID-19. But nationwide, uptake isn't quite that high. Nearly 15% of eligible Canadians are still completely unvaccinated, and misinformation about the safety of the shot is at least partly to blame. Tashana Reid now on efforts to replace fiction with fact.
Really, Madame Levick?
Since this first shot in Canada, 27 million Canadians have made the choice to get fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That's 82% of the eligible population. But all these months later, many people still remain vaccine hesitant.
This is the VaxFax website.
Dr. Latif Murji has been fielding questions and concerns daily from people still on the fence. His clinic offers one-on-one phone discussions with doctors.
As our policies are nudging people towards vaccination, the people who have questions and some reservations are now coming to us, and we're having our number of appointments explode. So I'll call her.
Since May, more than 700 people have called in. And after getting the facts, 82% of them move forward with getting a shot.
There's a ton of misinformation out there. It's coming from various sources. A lot of that is cherry-picked evidence.
Some hesitancy surrounds vaccine side effects, but serious issues are extremely rare, making up just 0.008% of all doses administered in Canada. And while it's difficult to make a direct link between side effects and vaccines, Health Canada is monitoring 3 issues: reported instances of blood clots and a nerve condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome, and inflammation of the heart or the tissues around it known as myocarditis or pericarditis.
When the cases do happen, they tend to be mild. They tend to resolve after a few days, and they don't seem to leave any lasting heart damage.
But contracting COVID can have far worse health outcomes.
If you have COVID-19, even a mild case of it, your risk of having a blood clot, having a stroke, having myocarditis is exponentially higher.
Ready?
Public health officials stress the best protection is the vaccine. Enough of a reason to get these people to roll up their sleeves. Tashana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
A pretty special light show happened overnight last night, and people in some unexpected places got to see it. Plus.
Love this story. We'll show you the marching tribute to Canadian rock and roll. Stay with us.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, how Taiwan has become a pawn in a global competition between China and the West, and what that means for its people. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Despite widespread vaccinations, predictions of a quick return to office work and busy downtown cores, well, they haven't panned out. According to one analysis of cell phone GPS data, compared to before the pandemic, foot traffic is still down around 70% or more in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Vancouver, and down 50% in Calgary, which was hit hard by an economic downturn well before COVID. That 1-2 punch has some wondering if Calgary's old downtown is ever coming back. But Aaron Collins shows us from that adversity comes creativity.
Sometimes you have to tear things down before you can build them up again. This Calgary office tower is being reimagined, once home to an oil and gas company, now being converted to affordable housing and a shelter for homeless families after years of sitting vacant. The architect behind this project says it's a sign of the times in this city.
We really have to rethink how do we leverage the buildings and the infrastructure that we have and turn it into, the metropolitan city that Calgary always wants to be.
The times have changed in downtown Calgary. About a third of the offices here now sit empty, an exodus that began when the price of oil crashed, made worse when the pandemic hit. Now the push is on to figure out what to do with all those empty offices.
I think what's really happening within our office inventory is people are starting to look at it more as an opportunity. What can we do with this 30% vacant space?
From university lecture halls to art galleries, everything is on the table for Calgary's downtown reboot, including turning its empty offices into farms. Vertical agriculture touted by some as a way to repurpose the city's empty towers.
If you have office space that is dwindling from a usage standpoint, and we can flip in some quote unquote farm equivalent product out of there, I think that's a pretty useful scenario.
But bringing Calgary's core back to life is no easy task.
At the end of the day, Calgarians have to be pulling all the levers. We have to look at a few repurposed buildings. We have to look at a few demolished buildings. We have to get tax incentives and financial incentives to attract businesses to move to Calgary.
Back at that office tower getting a makeover, a building sense of optimism despite the glut in office space.
The adversity of it breeds creativity. And if you don't have that problem, then you don't have the creativity to kind of solve it.
The future of Calgary's downtown remains up in the air. When the pandemic ends, many will return to these office towers, and those that do will find a transformation underway, one designed to change the very fabric of the city's core. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, for Canada's north, the breathtaking display of the Northern Lights is a regular event this time of year. But last night, that incredible show from Mother Nature, it traveled south. For those lucky enough to have a clear sky, the show did not disappoint. Those vivid strands of light seen dancing over large swaths of Western Canada and the northern United States.
That is beautiful. Oh, look at that nice little tail.
It's something you'd usually have to travel hours north to see, but this time, a rare solar flare event triggered a geomagnetic storm.
Normally, you only see that at the poles where a magnetic field dips down, but sometimes a really strong storm can have those electric charged particles excited. That's what we call them, and that's how they show these great colors.
And don't worry if you missed it this time. Keep your eyes on the sky because there could still be more chances to watch.
The sun cycle goes into periods of more activity every 11 years, and 2019 was the start of an active cycle. So maybe we'll see more of these northern lights over the next few years farther down in latitude, which would be nice.
Fantastic. Up next, an American marching band pays tribute to a Canadian rock icon. The story behind this incredible halftime performance in our moment next.
A Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
All right, there's a pretty good chance you might know that Canadian classic, Tom Sawyer, a 1976 hit from Rush. So now it has received a modern twist, all thanks to a few Rush fans in an Ohio University marching band. Their salute to Canadian rock is our moment.
We have an assistant director and a percussion instructor actually here who are fans of Rush and suggested this show a couple of years ago. And of course, when Neil Peart died, around that time, we thought it would be a really great idea just to pay tribute to him and pay tribute to the band. We dedicated the second number of the show, Limelight, to his memory, and so of course had the motorcycle formation there, and then the actual drummer playing on as many bits of percussion instruments as we could possibly get out there on the field. There is no greater feeling in the world, I think, for us when we're paying tribute to somebody and to a group, and that group that we're trying to show that respect for and pay that tribute to certainly not only acknowledges the performance but seem to really enjoy it. I couldn't be happier. I think that's the most rewarding part of this whole thing.
I gotta say, I love everything about that. Doesn't it kind of remind you of those aerial drone displays at the Olympics, right? Just kind of, but the low-tech version. And I love a good cover, and that is as inventive as they
Oh, I know you love a good cover.
Yeah,
We've had that conversation. It's fantastic that Rush loved it too. And why now? Again, it was supposed to happen in January 2020. We all know the zombie apocalypse pandemic has interfered, and so why not do it now? That is a national for October the 12th. Good night.
Good night.